Hey everyone, welcome back to this new installment of Inspiration Information, a series that I do on and off about a book or a series or a podcast that inspired me to dig back into my collection and show you a few interesting pieces. Last time I was talking about Ravi Shankar and all these wonderful North Indian classical music records. And today I want to talk about the art of World Record Club. It's very dark. I don't know if you can see this very well. This is a book called It's Another World Record, which was written by Jeff Hocking. And I've had this for years and years. In fact, there was a card from my wife from 2015 for Christmas. And it's a book that I keep on my coffee table quite often. I just dip in and out of it because it's such a wonderful, beautiful illustrated book. It's a book about record covers, for instance, So they've got entire pages and plates about record covers. So World Record Club, just to make it simple, was a mail order only record club that was founded in London by four individuals. One of them was John Day, who is an Australian expat to England, who was a copywriter and a designer. There was Norman and Fiona Lonsdale, who I know really not very much about. They put the money in basically, and the famous English actor Richard Attenborough, who probably everybody knows. And the concept of World Record Club was to press records from the main catalogs at a discounted price. And their policy was quite forward thinking at the time, because most record clubs forced you to actually buy, like they would press things and you had to actually get whatever was pressed in the catalog. Whereas with World Record Club, as long as you bought one record per year, you were still in the club and you could order as many records as you wanted, and that enabled them, I think, to know how many records needed to be pressed. Long story short, World Record Club became World Record Club Australia in about 1958, and a branch was set up in the suburb of Camberwell, which is not far from here. It was on Camberwell Road in Hartwell, just really I live in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne, so it's not very far from that. And in Australia, if you live here, you can find a lot of World Record Club, especially for classical music, because while the label specialized in reissuing classical music from EMI, from HMV, lots and lots of different labels they would reissue that with put their own twist on their own covers. What's beautiful about World Record Club is that the engaged local artists from here. So because Swinburne University, which is one of the universities here in Melbourne, one of the main ones, the School of Design was very close to the office in Camberwell. They hired young designers from there, and it was the 60s. It was all very modernist, very forward thinking. And then like Jeff Hocking, who writes the book there, was one of the main designers for the covers. So I find it really fascinating personally. I don't know if you will find this fascinating, but they're mostly classical records, obviously, that probably will deter some of you. But you got to imagine these are designed here by Australian designers, and they're you can find them anywhere, and they're so cheap. So I'm going to show you a roundup of the records that I have. But I mean, this book is just totally beautiful, if I may say. There's a couple of pages there which I find look at these records there. Look at these sleeves. And this is Vaughan Williams, Schoenberg, Stravinsky, and Benjamin Britten there. But look what they've done with the covers. So I'm going to show you things of that ilk in this video, which are just, look at these records. They're just absolutely gorgeous. So instead of me showing you page from the book, I'm going to show you some of the records. Some of them came in series. I mean, like for example, I've shown this fairly recently, this Szymanowski, and you can see what they've done there. They boxed this with the title, and that appears in a lot of records. So if you live here, you'll see, if you live in Australia, you'll see this is Penderecki, Threnody, to the victims of Hiroshima. And so every time there's the World Record Club label there, you can see it everywhere. And this is the address, actually, that I was talking about. So registered in Camberwell Road, Hartwell. As I said, not very far, as the crow flies, not very far from here, because I'm in the east of Melbourne. This is a Vaughan Williams symphony. And the Lark Ascending is probably my favorite Vaughan Williams piece. Okay, that's just beautiful. So, continuing, and so what World Record Club did really well was to integrate also current artists of the time into the designs. So, for example, these two bear the same sleeve exactly, and I mean, if you don't live in Australia, you may not be familiar with Charles Blackman. But Charles Blackman, who did this drawing here, is really one of the main artists from the one of the greatest painters, artists from the 20th century in Australia, easily. And then what blew my mind when I was reading this book there is that at the time, if you ordered this, you could get a signed print of this by Charles Blackman as part of the package. How mind-blowing this is that? So there you go. This is Charles Blackman. And if you go to the National Gallery of Victoria, you will see a few Charles Blackman. I've even, in fact, myself been to a retrospective of his work. So this is Mahler, and they decided to reuse the same cover for these Schuberts. I mean, not taking it out of the sleeve, but you can see. So they were actually just basically also propping up modern artists of the time. This is a beautiful Vaughan Williams. It reminds me a little bit of the idea of like Power, Corruption and Lies by New Order, with the use this. But I just think you see this was just a really cheap record from the up shop, but this is a fantastic piece of music actually. Especially the Fantasia on green sleeves, it's just lovely. And you can see again World Record Club from Melbourne. I'm just showing you random records. There's no order or fashion. Now this one. So they did this series called the Record Society. That was a sub-series of World Record Club. Now look at this beautiful modernist piece of art. Now this is like an OB that goes over the thing, so it's difficult to keep together. But this is Berg, Alban Berg, and Bela Bartok. And so it fits really well the idea of the music. It's very modern. It's modern composition, okay, and you've got this fantastic OB that keeps it together. I mean, and otherwise it's kind of this textured, this beautiful textured sleeve there, which it's gorgeous. I'm not talking about music today. I'm talking about artwork, okay. So I apologize if you wanted me to talk about music, but I'm not talking about music. I got a few Bartoks there I'll continue with Bartok. Bartok is kind of almost my favorite composer. I mean, again, the idea, this kind of like almost pop art, modernist idea was pervaded through the designs of the sleeves. I mean, this really reflects what the music sounds like, you know, in many ways. That's Violin Concerto Number 1, Viola Concerto, and here I have also the number 2, which is quite a different design, but all the same, very very cool. They've chosen a picture of Bartok instead of that, with the great Yehudi Menuhin. There we go. There's the stereo that you can see on almost all of their records. Well, Record Club. Another Bartok that I've got here, which I find the design to be completely gorgeous, is this. You know, you can see it's almost like you know, it reminds me a little bit of you know, something by Picasso or something like that, which is this kind of very affected by war type of art. I don't know who did this picture there. It probably is in the notes there, but it's I just find these designs beautiful. Here is another Mahler this gorgeous sleeve. Mahler and Berg. Look at these sleeves, how beautiful they are. They're just the design. I just wanted to just talk about the design of these sleeves, and I don't know if you'll be very interested, but I find this very interesting myself. There's a couple of Beethoven that I find just also gorgeous. Piano Concerto and Rondo in G. You know, these I just showed you this to you in the book just before. This is a beautiful record too. The Moonlight Sonata, and what have we got? The Pathetic Sonata, played by Firkunzny. Just a lovely. Sorry about the glare and the reflection. Just beautiful. Some more Beethoven. These are classified by composer basically at this point in time. Beethoven. Look at this by Daniel Barenboim, very well-known interpreter of Beethoven. I mean, all these were like in-house designs, which is every time I see, you know, like something that I like musically, and I see them in the World Record Club sleeves, I tend to buy them. These are some records I've had for a long time. This is Chopin, and it's just a very lovely design with this very impressionistic looking, and with the gold, it kind of reminds me of a little bit of a Klimt kind of a thing, you know, like they've gone for like an Art Nouveau, Art Deco kind of vibe there, I think. More Chopin there, with the same, I think maybe even the same picture of the same woman, but in a sort of different kind of color tone, very sepia looking. And again, this is Chopin, played by Wilhelm Kempff, sonatas, and again, as you can see, they even tell you on every record the setting of the like they're very very thorough with their. Another one which I find totally gorgeous is this one here, the Georges Bollé playing Chopin, solo Chopin, like just this kind of flair, and I don't know what it's a close up of, or I mean, this is the original design at the back. I mean, that's just gorgeous. I mean, if you saw this on any other record, you'd go, you know, because let's face it, we buy records on like for the merit of the sleeve a lot of the time. I mean, you know, why are records so enticing? Because you can see a big piece of artwork. And for me, I love classical music, and when I see these, it's just, I find it's very, very exciting. Very, very. This is again another modern design, Mendelssohn, and Bruch, two major artists with this kind of like, sun and um, just a sort of like a musical waves. Just, yeah, beautiful stuff. Um, Rimsky course. Look at this just amazing piece. Like these are artworks in their own right. I think when you look at these, I mean, and look at you know, how modernist is that? It's just beautiful. This is the pieces Prokofiev, Rimsky-Korsakov, uh, Russians, Russian composers on the mighty World Record Club. This one I find particularly gorgeous to look at and gorgeous to listen to as well. Is this Robert Schumann piece? Like, I mean, this kind of like, botanical, and you've got butterflies. So it's entomology and botanical science to sort of like merge into one beautiful shot. It's just, I'm sorry about the glare. I'm really sorry. Maybe I'm shooting at the wrong time of the day, but I don't know. Maybe almost no one will watch this video anyway, so should it matter too much? Here's another design that I find really compelling. And these are two composers that are, I mean, really not well known at all. We've got Bloch and so Ernst Bloch and Frank Martin. So these are the names of this is very glary, but the design is gorgeous. It's kind of, it's very pop art, I think, in many ways. World Record Club. Here are two beautiful Russian examples. So this is the Firebird, which is, I believe, a close-up of a peacock feather, but treated with, it's kind of a flared kind of peacock feather. That's one of the first one I ever got. It came from the music department rejected records of the school I work at. I got this 15 years ago, but it's very cool. I just love this. It's just a beautiful. It's not in the best shape. I could find one but like, for example, a shop I go to, Licorice Bar in the city, they've got like 4 or 5 boxes of World Record Club stuff, which nobody wants. Like, I pick through it sometimes, but not enough people love classical music. So I mean, this is, look at the designs on these things. They're just, I mean, I want to say I love the music too. It's not just, but if you can combine a beautiful graphic design with great music. This is Rachmaninoff Piano Concerto, amazing, and Saint-Saëns Piano Concerto as well. Here's that. Yeah, again, very glaring. I've got a few more to show you. This is my favorite musical classical piece. I mean, easily the Dvorak Concerto in B minor for cello and orchestra. I mean, like, I love this piece. I've got 10 copies of this, like different ones in my collection here. I've got 10. I think I've got 10 different, and they're all different. This is Paul Tortelier, who is a French cellist, very, very, very classy, really light touch. But I've got lots of them. But this version is just, it's gorgeous. I mean, you look at these records. Here is a couple of Yehudi Menuhin pieces. I mean, that alone, like, this is Brahms, played by Yehudi Menuhin and conducted by Kempf. There. No, it's not Kempf, it's Kemper. I just love this. I mean, it just tells you everything you need to know. You get the three names. It's so elegant and so simple, and you know you're in for a violin treat when you listen to this. It's just sensational. Um, Here's two Mozart concertos by Yehudi Menuhin. Again, like all this is like in-house artwork. Okay, there you go, beautiful stuff. And here are two that the design is starker and it's kind of, but I still, I still like so those two composers absolutely obscure beyond belief. Balakirev and Medtner. So these are two concertos, but look, I know almost nothing about these composers, but when you see that, like, it's just enough, like, for $1 or something to buy this and to give it a try, which is cool. And the last classical one I'm going to show you is this one here, the Janacek. And again, sort of a very, it's meant to be a piano, or or a strange looking piano. Piano work by Janacek. So all these are some of my, I've got more on it, but it's just some that I found interesting. But I also want to show you some non-classical records. So just a few months ago, I came across this one in a thrift store in Melbourne. Twice times keyboard. And what happens is every time I see a World Record Club thing, I'm intrigued by it because I thought, what kind of music could it be? And when I looked, it's Bill Lesage, who is a vibraphonist. I think he's from England. And you've got baritone, alto sax, bass, and so on, cello ensemble. So yeah, it's a jazz meets classical kind of record, a third stream record, and I've kept it because I quite like it, actually. It's not groundbreaking or anything, but I really do quite like this record. Here's a classic on World Record Club, The Hollies, Butterfly, the classic, one of the classic psych records from England. The Hollies with Graham Nash. It's the album, but it's pressed on World Record. It's a local press with a local sleeve design, So they also released a few pop and jazz things. These two are gorgeous. Look at these. I mean, the Mamas and the Papas, Volume 1. So I think it's one of their albums, but it's been rebranded. It has dedicated to One I Love, Monday Monday, California Dreaming, and so on and so forth. So all redesigned by World Record Club. And they get, like, I think they get the original, they get the exact same plate to press them as they would have been pressed in Australia. So I mean, there's no difference in quality, really. Here is Volume 2, which is, I think, came out under the name Gemini Child or something like that. But look at that, Mamas and Papas, Volume 2. And I'll finish off with a couple of jazz numbers. This one I found years and years and years ago, before I knew what World Record Club was all about. This is Soul Flutes, Trust in Me. If you know this record, it's a very funky record. It was engineered by Rudy Van Gelder, and it has Herbie Hancock on piano, Eric Gale, Grady Tate on drums, Eric Gale on guitar, Ray Barretto on vibes. So yeah, it's a Herbie record, really. Very funky record. Okay, that's the Australian design, the Australian World Record Club design. And finally, It was an Australian jazz record. Came out on World Record Club. The Don Burrows Quartet. Don Burrows, I've spoken about Don Burrows on my channel many times. Was a flute, sax player who just an amazing, prolific figure on the Australian jazz scene. And here we've got the late John Sangster on vibes and percussion. I mean, the design reflects the sort of. This is kind of like I would say like a bebop record, a post-bop record. But it's, and somebody got this on the 14th of November, 78. So it seems. All right. Well, if you enjoy this, I don't know if you enjoy this. It was just my tribute to World Record Club, great label that you can find lots of here in Australia. Leave me some comments or just talk to me or don't talk to me. Love you all. Take care.